Hello guys, welcome to JHook, and in second part of this Kubernetes series, today we are going to see the Kubernetes installation on a bento CentOS 7. In the previous tutorial, we have looked on the Kubernetes installation on Ubuntu. So if you haven't looked, then just please go back and check my channel where I have uploaded the part 1. And along with this tutorial, I'll be sharing you a guide. And this is my own guide where I have created around 15 steps. And if you follow along this 15 step, then it will be pretty easy to install Kubernetes on CentOS. So please check the link in the description section where you will find all the 15 step. And in this session, we will be side by side following step by step, and we will be doing the hands-on session also. So yeah, stay tuned and let's begin. During this hands-on session, we'll be using this guide. I'll put down the link in the description box for the instructions which I have written over here. There are around 15 steps, so you can follow along all the 15 steps for the installation. Moving ahead, in the step number 1, we are spinning the Vagrant box, and for a Vagrant box, we are using a two node. One is the master node with a 2 CPU and 2 GB of memory, and one is the worker node with 1 CPU and 1 GB memory. And this is the Vagrant file which you can look. Here we have defined the master node as well as the worker node with their own IP. IP range is in the similar range, so you can see over here. And this is the bento CentOS 7. This is the operating system which we are going to use during this installation process. Okay, let's head over to terminal and start our Vagrant box. If you are doing this for the first time, then it might take a little time because it's going to download the bento CentOS image from internet. So it depends upon your network bandwidth. I'll skip this section. It's gonna take a while, so we can come back when it's ready. Okay, so our Vagrant is up. Vagrant box is up, so we can now log in into the master. I'll clear the screen over here. And for the login, what we need to do is Vagrant SSH and the node name. And the node name which we are using is master. So yeah, as you can see, this is our master node and we are logged into it. I'll clear the screen, and on the right hand side, we are going to log into worker node. So same command, Vagrant SSH worker. Yeah, we have logged in successful here. So this is our worker node. I'll clear the screen. So now we have Vagrant box up and running and we logged into master as well as worker node. Let's head over to the next step. As a next step, in the step number 2, we are going to update the etc host file and we are going to make an entry for master as well as the worker node. So we need to perform this step on both master node as well as the worker node. So let's copy this command. That's sudo. You need to be the admin to perform. Let's go to the master node. Okay. And then go into the edit mode and then just copy the IP address of worker as well as the master node. Done. I'll save the file. Same thing I'm going to perform in the worker node also. So I'll need to edit the file, go into edit mode, and then need to paste. Okay, I'll save this. All right, now what we can do is we can ping the master from here. Yep. So now we can ping the master from the worker node and we'll do just opposite of it. Yeah. So our both master and worker node are working and our entry is correct in the etc host file. Let's move to the step number 3rd, and in the step number 3rd we need to install Docker, and again it needs to be installed on master as well as the worker node. So to install Docker we need to copy this command and we need to be the admin. I'll paste it here, and same thing I'm going to do over here also in the worker node. It will take a time to download the image and to perform the installation. Okay, so Docker has installed both on master as well as worker node. I'll clear the screen a bit. Let's head over to the next step. In the next step, which is step number 4, we need to disable the SELinux on both master as well as worker node. This is a special command or the special step for the CentOS we need to perform. And for that, I'll just copy this command. Okay, same thing I'm going to do on the worker node. That's done. And then we need to issue the actual command for disabling the node, SELinux. That's done. All right. Okay, so step number 4 is done. Let's move to the step number 5, and in that we need to disable the firewall in the CentOS, and that needs to be disabled for both master as well as the worker node. And the command for disabling the firewall is this sudo systemctl disable firewall d. Just copy this here and paste it here. Done. And same thing on the worker node. That's done. And then we need to stop the firewall. So I'll stop it on master and here also. Okay, now it's done. So these two commands are for worker node, but it's pretty much same. So you can use any of these commands to disable the firewall on both master as well as worker node. Moving along to the step number 6, we need to disable the swapping because Kubernetes cannot be installed if the swap is on. So for that, we need to use this command sudo swap off a. I'll perform it on a master. That's done. I'll perform it on a worker also. That's done. Moving to the step number 7, we need to enable the usage of the IP table on both master as well as worker node for the CentOS. And for that, the commands are these. We need to use these 3 commands to enable the usage of the IP table. And again, it needs to be performed both on master as well as worker node. So I'll copy this command from here. I'll paste it here. Okay, that's done on master. Same on worker. I'll copy the next command. Done. And here also on the worker node. And this is the last command. Okay. And done. So now we have enabled the IP table for both master as well as worker node. Moving to the step number 7, we need to add the repo information in the CentOS so that our Kubernetes package can be downloaded. So for that, just copy this command. We need to edit this Kubernetes repo file. Okay, now we are into edit mode, and then we need to copy this following repository information. Just copy this here and go into edit mode and then insert it. Okay, and now we need to save this information. And the same thing we need to perform on the worker node also. Just copy the command for editing the repo. Go and edit the Kubernetes repo file. So this is the command. Go into insert mode. And now we need to paste the same information here also. So I'll copy it from here and paste it here. Okay, now we need to save this information. All right, so now we have added the Kubernetes repo information into both master as well as worker node. Moving to the step number 9, we need to now install the Kubernetes on both worker as well as the master node. So this is the installation command, and this is going to install the 3 packages: Kubeadm, Kubelet, and kubectl. Okay, and same command I'll use over here in the worker node as well. It might again take a little bit time because all the packages are getting downloaded from internet, so just wait for a while. Now it's installed. Let's head over to the next step. And in the next step, we need to enable and start the kubelet on both the nodes since we have installed in the step number 9 previously. So now we need to enable it. So I'll copy the enable command from here I'll clear the screen a bit here and here also. Okay, so on the master, I'll enable the kubelet. Okay, it has been enabled. Same thing I'm going to do on a worker. Okay, it's done. One more thing, after enabling the kubelet, we need to start the kubelet also. So copy and paste the start kubelet command on both master as well as worker node. And that's done. Okay, now we can move ahead to the next step. And in the next step, we need to initialize the Kubernetes cluster since we have installed and enabled the kubelet. And now we need to initialize the Kubeadm. So that we can do with this command. And remember here, we are using the Kubeadm init. We are putting the advertise address, and this advertise address is the same which we have specified in our Vagrant file, and this is the pod network CIDR. So this can be any IP address which you can assign to it. So that doesn't matter. So I'll copy this command over here and paste it over here. Okay, so I think we got some error and we need to look. There's the error, cannot connect to Docker daemon. So we forgot to start the Docker and we installed the Docker, but we didn't start it to Docker. So if we go back to the previous step where we installed the Docker, we need to start the Docker. Here it is. So we perform sudo yum install Docker, but we didn't start it. So let's start the Docker on both the machines, master as well as worker. And I'll paste it over here in the worker also. Okay, next thing, we need to check the status of a Docker on both. I'll clear the screen a bit. Yep, now it's running and check here. Yeah, it's running. Okay, so now Docker has been installed and I'll clear the screen here a bit and let's go back to our guide. And what we did is like we were trying to initiate the Kubernetes, and I'll copy this one here and I'll paste it here. Okay, so as you can see, the error is gone and now it is initializing the Kubernetes cluster. So for the first time, it might take a little time. So we'll just wait for a while. Okay, now, so our kubeadm init command has worked successfully. As you can see, your Kubernetes control plane has initialized successfully. And the one thing which we need to notice over here is the kubeadm join command, because this command which we are going to use from a worker node to join to our master node. So just copy this command because it contains a hash token and which is unique always. So I'll copy this and save it somewhere. So moving along to the next step. And in the next step, as you can see in the previous step, we have copied this kubeadm join command for ourselves. And in the next step number 12, we need to move our admin config, that is the admin configuration for Kubernetes, to the current working directory, because we need to run this from our current user, not as an admin user. So I'll create this directory. I'll clear the screen over here. Okay, this directory has been created, and then I'll do the copy. Okay, that's done. And then I'll change the user. It's needed because, and it needs to be done in the master node because you need to run this as your current user. That's why we need to create this directory and we need to copy this admin config from etc Kubernetes to our current working home directory. So that's the reason behind it. Okay, that's being done. Moving to the next step, now we need to apply CNI. CNI is like a container network interface where different Kubernetes nodes could be able to contact with each other or communicate with each other. So there are certain configuration provider like Qflanner and Calico. You can go through their website to read more details about it, and we can use those configuration. These are simple YMLs which we need to copy and apply. So for that, what we need to do is we need to download this YML, that is qflannel.yml. I'm using the Flanner version. So just copy this, and that needs to be done on master node. I'll clear screen, so that would be better. Okay. Okay, so it's a very small file as you can see, and it has been downloaded. And now there is a one thing which I would like to tell over here is this is a network configuration, so it needs a Ethernet name. What is your Ethernet? So that we can check it over here is IP A space S. And here, since we are running on a virtual machine, so there are a couple of Ethernet, that is Ethernet 0 and Ethernet 1. So one thing I would like to mention over here is like by default, the kubectl uses Ethernet 0. But since we are running on a virtual, so Ethernet 0, we don't need to use. We need to use the Ethernet 1. So for that, we need to make an entry or additional configuration in the kubectl.yml, which we have recently downloaded. So let's head over and just open in a VI, clear this screen. Okay, so this is our kubectl, and there are a lot of configuration in it, but we need to search for flannel D. Okay, so I'll search over here, and here it is. If you look over here, this is the flannel D. Okay, so now we are able to find this. Now we need to add Ethernet 1 because that's the actual Ethernet which we are going to use during our Kubernetes installation. So the extra parameter, if you look here, so we can see IP mask is already there, kube subnet manager is already there. So one parameter which is missing is this one. So we need to copy this one and go into insert mode here, and we need to paste it over here. Just be careful about the spacing and the spellings. It should be correct, and I'll save it. Okay, that's done. So now we have added that extra parameter for Ethernet, and that is Ethernet 1. And now we need to apply this flannel YML, and that we can do with the kubectl command. Kubectl apply f and the name of the file, that is kubeflannel.yml, and hit enter. All right, so that has been applied. Let's head over to next step, and I hope this is going to be a last step, but in this step we need to join to our master node. And just be careful, we are going to run this command from our worker node because we need to join worker to our master. So for that, if you remember in our step number 11, if you go above, I told you to keep the copy of this command, which is which when we initialize the Kubeadm, so we got this command. So we need to save this command and we need to use this command, but don't use this one because it has a token which is unique when I recorded this tutorial, but it has to be your own token when you were working on this installation procedure. So you should copy that. Otherwise, we couldn't copy. There is one more command for it. You can generate it again. That's not a problem. But let's go ahead to the worker node, and the worker node here is on my right hand side. So yep, so this is the command we have over here, and I copied it previously, so I'll just copy that command again from my notepad and paste it over here. And remember, it needs to be sudo. You cannot uh, run this command without sudo. You need to be a root user for this. So okay, I cannot run this. Yep, you cannot run this command. So I'll go back to the sudo. There it is. It might take a little time because it's just first time we are doing all these things. So just wait. All right, so now it has joined, and that has run successfully, the join command, and we can go back to our master node and see the nodes. That the command is kubectl get nodes. And here you can see the master is ready, which is running for a quite long time, and the 16 seconds ago we just started our worker node, and it's not ready state, but it will eventually start. So yeah, here it is. So it will just come into ready state, and as you can see it's 32 seconds ago. So we just started we just joined the worker node with our master node. So that's it. That was our last step, which we already did. And now both nodes are in a ready state. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial of installation of Kubernetes on CentOS 7. And if you have any error or any questions regarding this article or this session, hands-on session, just please put down into the comment section below. I'll put down the link of this guide, this all the steps into the description, and which you can follow, and you can just copy all the command as it is, except for the join command, which you need to take care of yourself. And if you have any feedback, just let me know. And if you want something similar content on Kubernetes, just put down into the comment section. I'll try to get back to you with some more similar session. And if you haven't checked my Ubuntu installation of Kubernetes, then just head over to my channel and just follow along the Ubuntu. It has the same procedures and same similar number of steps. So that's pretty easy. Thanks and goodbye. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.